Now this SummerSlam event has been a weird one, honestly. The build to it didn't make it feel like a grandiose event. The vibes were off. It didn't feel like the event was close until the Raw before SummerSlam. But WWE's decided to make it 2 nights. Why? Money. Anything you ask, if there's always a question, just look at the financial aspect. That will give you the answers. In this case, 2 nights means 2 big events sold out at MetLife Stadium. I don't know if it's sold out, but it's a lot of people in the stadium regardless. It kind of ruins the event, honestly, because I don't see why SummerSlam needs 2 nights. You know, I'm good off seeing Cardi B 2 nights in a row. I'm good off seeing some filler matches, but at the end of the day, it is SummerSlam, and it's also a time where WWE tends to give you the next big storylines for the next few months. Even though I wasn't that hyped for this event, at the end of the day, I remembered it's SummerSlam. Alright, the Bloodline, Jey Uso and Roman Reigns faced the Bronze, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I would have hoped to see a singles match between Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker, but I guess it's not too far out. As it pertains to Roman Reigns, he still hasn't apologized to Jey for his actions in the past, but he's family, so it's water under the bridge. Sometimes it works that way. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso combined garnered the reaction of an entire city. It's crazy how far Roman's come since being booed, and then we got Jey dancing in the middle of the match. Like, bro, buddy fixed things fast. The build for this match ended up being solid and also showed that Braun and Braun were actual threats. It's unfortunate how Rollins got injured, but it's really allowed for WWE to actually focus on these two. Breaker during this one had some sort of brain damage, and at times he destroyed Jey, but in other times he hurt himself. He was going insane and looked like a lunatic the entire time. I don't know if the spray tan's gotten to his head, or he has a beast stuck in his head, but ever since then he's gotten crazier in ring. Reigns saw some of this and actually tried matching. He soared the air casually and almost hurt himself. One thing I enjoyed about this match is how he felt like the heels were trying to match and overpower the faces. Roman and Jey are some of the best tag team wrestlers ever. The Browns just didn't care about this. They went about it as usual, but brought a little extra knowing what these two were capable of. But then again, I think everyone was insane in this one. Roman in particular was wild at times, and even more wild than anything we imagined would come from him. What the hell is wrong with this guy? Did they ship out brain cells from his brain or something? But Reigns did something for somebody by sacrificing himself to save Jey. In some ways, this is continuity, seeing as Jey and Jimmy constantly came to the rescue for Roman throughout the years. For once, Roman Reigns harmed himself to save the greater good, and that's the biggest thing to come out of this match. Great match. It was great because they filled it up with crazy spots. The Browns in particular were insane and unpredictable. Braun Breaker, this guy was injected with coke before the match. He just had to be. But other than Breaker, the other 3 showed up. Reigns surprised me a bit here, a bit with his involvement in this one, and by the looks of it, I guess we haven't seen the very best of him. He's always aura farming and disappearing, but it makes moments like this bigger. The Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez defend the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. For once, Charlotte has started doing something different and it served her well. Alexa Bliss, on the other hand, is still very popular, and even though she's not near a world title, she still has no problem maintaining that popularity. The action was solid here, and it was not bad at all. Roxanne obviously can't replace Liv Morgan just on the basis of her history with Raquel, but she's done well for herself in this position. Alexa obviously was worked on because she's the weaker link in the team. At least Charlotte coming in, she goes insane. I don't know if it's the stadium, the big time fight feel or whatever, but she showed up here like crazy. Alexa at one point accidentally knocked down Charlotte and almost cost them the match, but she quickly managed to redeem herself. Charlotte had this moment where she could have returned the favor, but ended up dropping Raquel, leading to Sister Abigail and the titles. New champions. Charlotte showed up like crazy here, and with these two teams being as popular as they are, it's natural they win the tag titles. Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross, the rematch. I thought it was once in a lifetime. Now, Kross is still popular with a certain set of fans, and instead of just going about a rematch, he still wanted to expose Sami Zayn as someone who's just about similar to everyone. You see, when Kross is hanging out and catering for 8 hours a day, it allows for him to think hard about nonsense, and now he's targeted Sami Zayn. Now, with regards to this match, it just wasn't much. Like, similar to the last one, I just didn't care much about it. I wasn't too invested in it. It's just one of those things where it's obvious that Kross doesn't got that, like, in-ring skill. He's got a lot of things outside the ring, which is clear as day, but I think that thing is always going to be his Achilles heel. Zayn here did a lot of character work. He didn't want to be exposed as a fraud, as Kross has been claiming for the last few weeks. But yeah, this match is just weird. Like, especially for a SummerSlam singles match, you'd expect more, but it just wasn't much. Zayn, though, didn't fall into the temptation of sin, as I'd say, and he won this match clean. He didn't give a damn. He beat him emphatically, and to me, feels like Kross is at a weird position right now, because he already lost to Sami Zayn last time around, but here it feels even more emphatic, and there's rumors going around that he hasn't extended his contract yet. Maybe they will extend it, but I don't see him having a strong push from here on, because they're too scared to even have him beat Sami Zayn. Now, Zayn's off to do something different, thank God, by the way, because, like, I'm looking forward to anything he does from here on. Clearly, it's going to be of much more importance than this side quest with Karrion Kross, but it's past, so there's that. that, Tiffany Stratton defends the WWE Women's Championship against Jade Cargill. In terms of ring experience, this is one of the most insane title matches you'll see at SummerSlam. I didn't really put much thought into it, but once it came down to it, I realized this was Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. They're not as experienced as the others. I didn't have high hopes for this one, honestly, but they made the most out of it. They went all out with the moves and the big spots, and they of course hit the limitations, but it was a good match. Tiffany showed up here, and one thing I appreciate is that WWE saw the situation they were in and didn't make the match too long. It wasn't long at all, and on the other side, we got to see a packed, short match. What is surprising is the way Cargill lost. I feel like it didn't match the build. I feel like Stratton was walking to a big storm, but that didn't translate into the match, and that's the only issue I have with it, because other than that, this is a pretty good match, especially when you see the situation that WWE booked themselves in. You know, I thought this was going to be a Naomi situation, but then she ended up cashing in at Evolution. I don't know where they're going to go with Tiffany Stratton and who's going to beat her, but they've been promoting this undefeated streak for a while now. It seems like they're going to make that into a bigger deal by the looks of it. This was Stratton's best performance recently, much better than the Evolution match, personal opinions. I thought it was a better performance than WrestleMania, and it was a short match, you know. It was suited to her strengths. With regards to Cargill, obviously I don't want to do anything too soon because at the end of the day, she's not ready yet, but the way she lost was a kind of a shocker, to be honest. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll face Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. This is one of the most random matches in SummerSlam history. Now, I don't got an issue with Jelly Rolls. It's just WWE cares too much about Instagram and TikTok clips that it affects the shows. With that said, the story was that of Logan Paul feeling like Jelly Roll isn't for the industry unlike him, and they added Orton and McIntyre to it. For some reason, Jelly Roll had me assuming he was the road dog for parts of the match, and he actually didn't look bad in there at all. One thing that's notable is that he actually sold the threat of Drew McIntyre. He made him look scary. Logan Paul was getting some crazy heat here, but that's normal for him. It was a regular tag team match. They just wrestled like it was a house show, and obviously it's not going to be anything special. Poor Jelly Roll got obliterated here. They took him out like it was WrestleMania 30 Daniel Bryan, and I don't know if he heard Imagine Dragons' monster in his mind, but he was motivated to go back and make good on his intentions to team up with Randy Orton. He runs in there, and if I didn't know anything, I think he's an actual wrestler. For a moment, I thought he'd hit a Vader salt, but as always, Logan Paul has to rain on the parade and silence a very loud crowd. It was probably the loudest they had been on the entire show up to that point. But yeah, solid match. Jelly Roll did not look bad at all. Once again, we gotta say it didn't look bad. I didn't care about this match at all, but once the bell rang, I'm like, okay, let's watch, because at the end of the day, we gotta at least give it time to materialize before we hate on it, right? But he didn't look bad in there at all, and there's a fascination. I low-key want to see him in more matches, because usually the celebrity wrestlers aren't exactly big guys like Jelly Roll. You know, his chokeslam was great. The way he'd grab Logan Paul and hit a freaking power slam had so much velocity and venom to it. I want to see this guy in another match, to be honest. But yeah, he actually looked great here, and that was the main intention for WWE, you know? Jelly Roll looked good. Other than that, I guess it's the end of this storyline. Maybe Randy Orton and Drew will continue. We'll see. And the main event, Gunther defends the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk. This is one of those matches you wouldn't have imagined to see, but it's here. The Ring General and the Second City Saint. This one was very physical. It was slow, but it brought out a lot of intensity from Gunther. The champion gave him a whooping, and Punk was only hanging on by a thread. I felt like Gunther's chops were gonna disintegrate CM Punk's chest. Like, I thought for moments that his chest was gonna turn into sand. This guy was wrestling on pure adrenaline. It was a fight, a battle, which was something that this show lacked. Braun Breaker had the fire early on, but these guys showed that main event level resolve. Both guys beat each other into exhaustion. It felt like a prime Gunther match from 2023. This clothesline, it doesn't stand out a lot, but it certainly did for me. That level of aggression from it just makes the match for me. And this was all before they started trading the finishers or the bigger moves. The match felt like Punk was playing Bret Hart, and Gunther was the big bad villain in his way in 1994. Punk had to tear him open to tear him down. He opened him up, and Gunther was struggling. And this was all because of his own doing. He was arrogant. He was overconfident. He was all of that. He had the sleeper but couldn't see a damn thing. Then when he took the GTS, he didn't collapse. So Punk hit another to win his first world championship in 3 years. This was a brutal battle, an affair that left both men bloody, spent, and broken. It was a match that upholds the honor of professional wrestling. Alright, I think I'm doing too much. I'm trying so hard to give it praise, but you should watch it. It reminds me of those vicious battles in 2000's ROH, something that Bret Hart would construct. All that. It really was a great match, you know. Punk comes out the Fantastic Four gear, goes crazy. Gunther in particular was vicious and violent, and this match could also serve to change his character a bit, because every single time he lost is because of himself. It's never because the other guy was better. It's always because he got confident, he got arrogant and all that. Maybe we'll see a character change or something like that. But CM Punk, for the first time in about, 13 years, he is a WWE champion. Great match. Match of the night for sure. Punk celebrating, he's all happy, then you hear burn it down. Seth Rollins comes out in the crutches. He's all injured. And then he does this dramatic ass pause and pose before pushing the crutches and cashing in the briefcase. He brutalizes CM Punk. Punk is exhausted. He's worn down from that Gunther battle and he cashes in. Punk hits the stomp and ends up winning the title and successfully cashing in the briefcase. Now, we're not going to say we didn't expect this. You know, this was obvious as day since Rollins got injured, because his injury, for as real as they tried to make it out to be, it was very strange. What I will say about it is I wasn't too fond of it because he had to cash in once again on CM Punk, and by the looks of it, they're going to have to continue the feud. I had enough of the feud, to be honest. If they end it at Clash in Paris, I'll be a happy man. It feels like it's never ending, you know? We need to see closure. We need to see an ending because Punk and Rollins, they got more to deal with other than each other. But one good thing that WWE did in Rollins' absence is build up Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I hope that continues with Rollins returning rather than have those 20-minute promos where Rollins is trying to beat 2003 Triple H. Like, we're good off that. You know, continue doing the Braun and Bronson Reed thing and have Rollins do whatever with the championship. Now that Rollins has cashed in, it does open way to the main event tomorrow. Tomorrow's John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Perhaps they'll have a huge ending to it, seeing as it's SummerSlam night 2. Only time will tell. With Rollins out of the way, there's a couple of options for them to go with the Cody Rhodes main event. I personally hope he doesn't turn heel, but that's an option clearly, seeing as John Cena technically turned face last night. Cena could turn heel. Maybe they could do a good guy versus good guy thing and have Cody end things on top or even lose. We'll see. But with regards to this main event, tremendous one. You have to watch if you haven't, because it's one of WWE's best matches in the entire year. It was Gunther of 2022-23 going up against CM Punk, Old Man Punk, who brought out his very best. Alright, that's SummerSlam. This was a good event, honestly. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Not a bad event at all. The only issue I have with it is the fact that it's 2 nights, because if this was a one-night event, it would have been amazing. You know, we have some great matches going on tomorrow for night 2, and if they combined them just to have one night, it would have been better off, but they didn't. It wasn't a bad show, but when you see MetLife Stadium and all this big spectacle, you expect something more from it. You know, it wasn't a big SummerSlam event. It was good, but it wasn't as SummerSlam as you'd think it would be. So yeah, match of the night is definitely CM Punk versus Gunther. Why wouldn't it be? Clear as day. Second, obviously the opener. I thought Braun Breaker was incredible. Roman Reigns showed up there. Other than that, the show was enjoyable. I didn't care much for Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross, but other than that, all the other matches were good. Alright, what you guys think of SummerSlam 2025 Night 1? Please comment down below, and that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the RKO on the like button and perhaps a stomp on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.